A Monk's Tale. The boy who shared his only meal. A long time ago, in a quiet village surrounded by dry fields and narrow dirt roads, lived a young boy named Daniel. Daniel was known in the village as a quiet and thoughtful child. He did not speak much, but he always watched the world around him with curious eyes. His family was very poor. His father worked long days in the fields, trying to grow crops from the stubborn soil. His mother sold small bundles of vegetables in the village market. Even with all their effort, food was never guaranteed. Some days the family ate simple meals. Other days they drank water and waited for tomorrow. But Daniel's mother believed deeply in one thing: education. Knowledge, she would tell him, is a light that no one can take away from you. Every morning Daniel walked several miles to the small village school. He carried his books in a worn cloth bag and listened carefully to every lesson. But hunger often walked beside him on that long road. One afternoon, before he left for school, his mother handed him a small bowl of rice and one piece of bread. "I'm sorry," she said gently. "This is all we have today." Daniel smiled. "It is enough," he replied. He wrapped the bread in cloth and began his walk toward school. But that day, something unexpected would happen on the day. As Daniel walked along the quiet path, the afternoon sun burned brightly above the fields. The road was nearly empty, except for the occasional farmer returning home. Halfway to school, Daniel noticed someone sitting under a large tree near the road. It was a boy he had never seen before. The boy looked weak and tired. His clothes were old and torn, and his face carried the quiet sadness of someone who had been struggling for a long time. Daniel slowed his steps. The boy's eyes followed the small bowl of rice Daniel carried in his hands. For a moment, Daniel understood something without a single word being spoken. Hunger. Daniel walked closer and sat down beside the boy under the shade of the tree. "Hello," Daniel said gently. The boy nodded but did not speak. "Are you going to school?" Daniel asked. The boy shook his head slowly. "I cannot," he whispered. Daniel looked at the boy's thin hands and tired eyes. "Have you eaten today?" Daniel asked. The boy lowered his head. "No." For a long moment, Daniel sat quietly. He looked at the small bowl of rice. He looked at the single piece of bread. It was not much. And he was hungry too. The wind moved softly through the leaves of the tree as Daniel sat there thinking. His stomach reminded him how hungry he was, but something inside his heart spoke louder than his hunger. Daniel slowly unwrapped the piece of bread. He broke it into 2 pieces. Then he placed the bowl of rice between them. "Let's share," he said. The other boy looked up in surprise. "You don't have to," he said quietly. Daniel smiled. "My mother always says food tastes better when it is shared." The 2 boys began eating together in silence. For the first time that day, the hungry boy smiled. And for the first time that afternoon, Daniel forgot about his own hunger. Sometimes kindness does something strange. When we give a little away, it somehow feels like we receive something much greater. After they finished the meal, Daniel stood up and picked up his books. "I must go to school now," he said. The boy nodded gratefully. "Thank you," he whispered. Daniel simply smiled and continued walking down the road. He did not know that the small decision he made that day would travel far into the future. Many years passed. The village slowly changed. New buildings appeared, and more children began attending school. One afternoon, Daniel returned to the village after many years away, studying in the city. As he walked through the market, someone called his name. "Daniel." He turned around. A well-dressed young man stood smiling beside him. "You may not remember me," the man said, "but I remember you." Daniel looked carefully at his face, trying to recognize him. "I was the boy under the tree," the man continued softly. "The day you shared your only meal with me." Daniel's eyes widened. "You changed my life that day," the man said. "I realized that if someone who had so little could still share, then I could not give up on my own life. The man smiled. I went back to school, I worked hard, and today, I help children who are hungry just like I once was. Daniel stood silently. Sometimes the smallest act of kindness travels farther than we can ever imagine. Because when one heart chooses compassion, it can light a path for many others to follow.
Ready for more inspiration? Subscribe and let's keep hope alive together.